10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth.
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined by the legend himself on my birthday, February 17th, 2020, John Romano, on the 11th anniversary of RxMuscle.com. How fitting is this?
Happy birthday, Dave.
Thank you.
It's very fitting to be able to share our 11th anniversary on your birthday. How amazing is that?
And we get to do it twice because we did it last night at like 2 a.m. and I fucked it up, which kind of was like almost like a foreshadowing or maybe a flashback from years past when, this stuff was difficult to do, podcasts, that is.
It just, since last night, I've been thinking about how we both started this, even before this, when we were still at MD and we had to call into Voice America, at 8 o'clock on Monday night.
You couldn't engineer the show yourself. You couldn't just record it on your computer like you can now. Right.
And things have definitely changed. And one of the things that hasn't changed is that we're still here.
We are. It's amazing. We are.
And everybody else is not.
We won, John. We won. If there's something to win, I don't know. We didn't win any prizes or anything. We just won. Everyone said we wouldn't win. We won. We beat everyone. We've outlasted everyone.
We won the bragging rights. That's for sure.
Well, think about it. Back in 2009, when Bleckman fired us, and we had built the MD website up to the epic proportions it had been built up to, there was was bodybuilding.com still a factor? I think they were, right? That's where Dan had his show.
Forum-wise, they were a contender.
And then Dan had Pro Bodybuilding Weekly on bodybuilding.com.
Right, Dan and Bob.
So Dan used to steal, Bleckman's athletes. Remember, in the guise of it's a product video for bodybuilding.com because it was exclusivity back then.
Oh my God, it was so stupid back then.
So you had Bleckman. We were contending with Flex Magazine, which was flexonline.com.
Right.
Bodybuilding.com, and obviously Dan's radio show was on bodybuilding.com. So those were the major players, and and you had Get Big, which was probably the number one, I would say, forum at the time. And we started from scratch. I think people thought we were nuts, and we won. Get Big is still around, but no one really goes on forums anymore because of social media. That put them out of business and put all the forums out of business, including ours. And then, of course, you have Flex that is not even a functional entity anymore, although they were just sold, and we're going to talk about that recently, for the rest of the show. And then MD is the Titanic going down. Obviously it's already sunk actually, but there's still a beacon at the surface beeping every once in a while.
It's the most drawn out, protracted death of in the entire universe. Yeah. That the death of it.
Actually, Bleckman might be the only one actually printing a magazine, but I think it's on. You remember when we were kids? They used to mimeograph things. No one even knows what we're talking about.
Ditto machine
in school. That was it a ditto machine? It was like a mimeograph machine. They would run the page, whatever the teacher wanted to copy. It was like through this ink. It was ink, right? It would be a roller.
Remember? And they had a dry if you slide the door.
That's what they're printing MD on right now. I think actually Eli, who did the printing press? Who was the first person to create the printing press?
Oh, I don't remember. Eli Whitney was the cotton gin.
He was the cotton gin, yeah.
I don't know, but I'm sure it's something we knew at one time and have conveniently forgot to make room for other stuff in our brains. But I was thinking, Dave. I was thinking of that.
Gutenberg invented the printing press. I think Bleckman's got in 1440. I think Bleckman's got the original 1440 prototype that he's printing MD on now.
That must be worth it.
That's what. How's Alan getting paid? Alan's back in the back of the office there printing off copies. We have 100,000 copies every month.
Oh my God! How about?
And he's selling it to the brick oven pizza place to fuel the fires of the
he would print 100,000 magazines just to say that he has 100,000 in circulation, when in fact, 2 people bought it. Yeah, it's #1 at Barnes and Noble. I gotta say though, looking back on that period of time, it is, and I always say this, and people are probably sick of hearing me say it, but on our 11th anniversary, I cannot help but look back on that day when we were locked out of the MD site, and we had built, up until that point, we had built an entire breathing animal. That I mean, remember those stages we used to have at the Arnold and at the Olympia, where we put the pool. Yeah, it was all from our community. We built this incredible community, and then and the magazine was 500 plus pages, and it was just a big giant successful ball.
It was the heyday, really, and us leaving really was not the downfall of the magazine. I mean, it was in terms of content, but the downfall of the magazine was occurring while we were leaving, because the internet was becoming more and more important, and we saw that. I mean, we were saying to him, for at least a year, we want TV programming. We need to create a TV studio. I've been saying it. You were backing me, and he thought we were crazy.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
Oh, you want to know why we were fired, by the way? I found out. Someone told me.
What?
Sean Ray told me. Because I'm always teasing Sean that he got me fired. He's like, no, I didn't get you fired. He goes, it was because you guys rented a Cadillac Escalade at the Olympia.
We did?
No, we did, because he knew we did. We rented it so that we can drive all the people who work for MD around.
Oh, the limo.
Not the limo. No, not the limo. We rented an Escalade for like the weekend, because remember how expensive cabs were? This was before Uber. We just drove everyone around all weekend, back and forth in the rent-a-car. We got a huge rent-a-car, which was the Escalade, which by the way, they gave me for free because they upgraded us. And we drove that around the whole weekend with driving the Smalley brothers, Bots.
Right, and it was because we didn't give them a ride. That's what he was.
No, that's what he told. He made it like we were going out. He made it like we got a Ferrari, you and I, and we were driving around the strip on the Ferrari, picking up chicks. That's not why he
fired us. Sean Ray's full of shit.
Of course, I know it isn't, but it's hysterical that's the story circulating within the Bleckman family. So anyway, pretty much the internet takes over. Luckily, we're on top of the curve at that point. With the TV programming we're doing already, with the Heavy Muscle show, you had built out that studio for us in New York, and we were ahead of everyone in that sense, and that's why we survived, and because we were able to evolve and change. And just like if you can't evolve and change in this current climate, which is all social media, you'll dissolve and disappear too. I mean, we had to work on a YouTube channel. A lot of people don't realize we used to host all our own videos on the RxMuscle.com website.
That's right.
And what we did was, I never put it on YouTube, because I'm like, well, why would YouTube didn't allow you to monetize? I'm like, why would I host it there and have people go to YouTube and not my own website? So that was something that we had to evolve. Then all of a sudden monetization came about, and like the whole, I call it the Rich Piana era came about, and he started doing crazy stuff on YouTube, and so we started moving our videos onto YouTube and monetizing there, in addition to obviously having it on our website. It was like redundancy, and that's where we're at now. And so we were able to convert no subscribers on YouTube to 250,000 is what we have now. And we don't pay for our subscribers either, like some other people do.
Right, like some other people we know. And I was starting to say, because I love saying this, because I know Bleckman listens to every word we say, or he's paying somebody to. Yeah. And so I know this gets to him. So I'm going to say it again. Everything that we built over the last 11 years would have been his. And not only would it have been his, but Muscular Development would have been, we would have probably talked him into buying the Olympia.
Absolutely. He missed another huge.
So he could have been, instead of this like, this pariah in the community who owes everybody money and who people look at as like a homo weasel, despicable human being. He would have been beyond the Joe Weider of bodybuilding. He would have been the king of all bodybuilding media.
Yeah.
He would have had it all. He would have had the top magazines, the top bodybuilding show in the world, the top website in the world. He would have presided over all of it.
Right.
Instead, his fragile little ego and small mind beat him out of it. And imagine the glute fest he'd have on his hands now.
Well, we would have talked him into buying the Olympia. He would have gotten it.
Smoking jacket. He'd be in a smoking jacket in a hotel suite somewhere with an endless parade of young guys with strided glutes walking in and out in his glory, and it all would have been his. And
He would have moved. Right, he would have moved the Olympia headquarters to wherever, out to Long Island, wherever he is.
Island.
And he could have had guys come in, like they would have gone to Joe Eater's office to come,
Yep.
pose for him.
Yep. They would have come and showed him his glutes, showed him their glutes, and he would have been in absolute pig heaven.
Yeah.
And he blew it. But I say he blew it. It would have been more for the industry. Imagine what the industry would have now if they had this single shining entity of global bodybuilding media that was put on by people who cared about bodybuilding.
Yeah. Well, look, you know what? He did us a favor because he allowed us to, extend our wings. And, look, we fought a lot of battles over the last 11 years to get to where we are now because we had to fight the ridiculousness of exclusivity where you couldn't interview people. I mean, as you like to say, the notorious parking lot wrap-ups and interviews we have to do with the Olympia because the Olympia people who were running it, when AMI ran it, and their people they had in place didn't understand that hey, the Super Bowl should be covered in style, not like ghetto in the parking lot with no lights on. I mean,
because they wouldn't let us film in the venue.
No one could film except
is that? No one could film. Only them.
The dumbest think about it. They had Phil Heath under contract for probably 10 years, right?
Right.
They never interviewed him, aside from maybe on stage at the Olympia when he would win the Olympia. And they had this brand that they didn't allow people to actually see because you couldn't film in the venue. You couldn't interview anyone in the venue. You had to jump through hoops to do anything. And they were stingy to get the press passes out and then limit where you sat. You had to sit a mile away to see the show. So, I mean, think about how stupid that is. It's the Super Bowl. You want to give unlimited access to everyone so that the show can seem like it's the greatest show on earth.
Exactly. And they were so short-sighted. They didn't see any of that.
Thank God that Dan Solomon got himself in there because even if AMI hadn't sold to Jake Wood, and we'll talk about that in a minute, at least Dan, came in there and completely revamped the whole system. Because I mean, last year, I wasn't there because we just had a baby, but Chris and my crew was there, Sid, and they had pretty much carte blanche to do whatever they needed to do there. And that's because of Dan, because Dan understands, the social media age. I mean, at this point, every single person in their seat in that Olympia can film live, can live stream the Olympia.
Yep. Finally, somebody got the message that keeping this thing in the closet in the dark is not the best thing for the sport.
No.
It was so. Looking back, what we dealt with was so fucking stupid.
I mean, from losing press passes over saying. I mean, you literally, and I remember this verbatim. We did a show, and John, we were praising how great the Olympia was, and John literally said that the aisles were a little narrow or something like that in the expo, and that he would love to see them expanded a little bit. And Robin Chang, who was promoting the show, got so pissed off that you said that we lost press passes.
Then the next year, I answered a question on a forum about why big companies aren't spending, aren't putting out giant booths at the Olympia, and I said because they're finding out there's no ROI on those giant things. I mean, fucking cans of protein powder you have to sell to break even on the Olympia. Jack Owak spent $250,000 on a fucking booth at the Olympia. You don't make that back. And so that's what I said. It's the cost prohibitive to put on those gigantic booths. And what happened to me? I got fucking kicked off my own site.
Yeah. That was a couple of years. And the funny thing is that all they had to do is come to the table like they're doing now and figure out a way to make the supplement companies, the sponsors of the event, want to be there. And Dan has done that. And now they're going to do it even more because now that Jake Wood, who is the owner of Wings of Strength, and he's who he just now purchased the Olympia. We don't know what the price is, but he purchased the Olympia and Flex magazine, Muscle and Fitness, hers. They're going to be taking their digital presence, and I believe they have like 17 million followers on those social media entities, and they're going to be offering that as something that sponsors can actually get involved with. So in other words, you don't only get a booth at the show, but you actually get social media exposure on their social media outlets. That's an enticement that would make a company in this modern age of social media want to get involved with the Olympia. And it's smart. And that's only because enough people complained and said, you know what, we're not going anymore. We're not going to spend the money. And so that was the change. And you really were the first person to really point it out, I think, you know?
Yeah, and I got ostracized for it. Yeah. But whatever, it's water under the bridge. My point is, we endured a bunch of bullshit to get to where we are today, to endure and last this long. And thank God we lasted, because now that Dan has got the reins of the Olympia and things are handled like in a sane manner, things are going to be way better for us, way better for the fans, and way better for the athletes, and everybody, which everybody deserves. And the fact that now you got Jake Wood for finally somebody, you know what? This guy deserves a fucking statue or whatever, because all of these people that have bitched and moaned over the years about blah, this is bad and that's bad, and then the athletes this and the show that, blah, 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 blah. Complain, bitch, moan, complain. Oh, and then, like Dr. Seuss, if I ran the circus, they'd talk about how they would do things and how they put this here and that there and do this and do that. Well, you know what? That was 2 decades of fucking talk, and no one did shit. Right. So now you got somebody who's walking the talk, steps up with a substantial amount of money to buy all of this shit, and now he's gonna spend money on it. And not only do you have him, but now you got The Rock, who's got a pocket full of cash, who's going to do something special for the sport, for the athletes, for the fans. Now we're stepping into an era where, thank God we lasted, because now it's going to start getting fun and it's going to start getting to be real. Is that Logan?
Yeah, that's Logan Palumbo here.
Hey, come on, Logan, get on the air.
You want to stay here?
I'm going to stay here, Logan. I'm doing the radio show. Are you going outside?
Yeah.
Okay. Logan's going outside to play.
Yeah.
All right. Have fun with Grandma. They're off from school for
We go to
President's
say
Day.
happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Logan's saying happy.
Your birthday.
Come over here and say happy birthday into the microphone.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, Logan. All right. Go play.
Go play with a snake. Take one snake with you.
Oh, they're so great at this age. They can only stay this age.
Oh my God!
I remember when Max, was that age.
Yeah, he was always riding on my shoulders. Remember?
Yeah. What a great age. So but you know what? The interesting thing, and I think what's going to make this really work, is that Jake Wood. First of all, for those of you who don't know, Jake made his, I guess, fortune, as you can say, in airplane fasteners.
Yeah,
I know it sounds like it's not like a glamorous type of like profession, but think about it. If the airplane didn't stay together, you die. So his company must be very good at airplane fasteners, because Alcoa bought them out, for probably a hefty sum of money. And so Jake was kind of retired in a sense, and he had all the, he has his big, bank account full of money. And what does he love? He loves women's bodybuilding. He loves the sport of bodybuilding. And so he started financing the women bodybuilding shows through his company, Wings of Strength. And basically, he wanted to keep that sport that they were trying to get rid of in business, so to speak. And he did. I think they were holding like 6 shows. And he was sponsoring like a bunch of other shows with Tim Gardner. And basically making no money. I mean, there's no business model. There's whatever he was putting in to sponsor these events was not coming back to him. It was just, and he doesn't have a business he was promoting from it. So he was doing it because he genuinely wanted to support the sport, in a I guess you could say, as almost like a philanthropist in the sense, because there was no return for him other than the pleasure of seeing that the sport continued.
Well, I thought that was fantastic, because they, the Olympia, treated women bodybuilders like redheaded stepchildren, and you got to remember back in the Corey era, The Miss Olympia was a standalone event that was sold out the Felt Forum at Madison Square Garden in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, it went from that prestige and that level of entertainment. It went to basically a sideshow at in the expo of the Olympia. Prize money went precipitously down year after year after year. Their recognition got lower and lower and lower. They didn't promote them, and they starved them out of existence. And then one day they just say, okay, no more Miss Olympia, no more Miss International, no more Miss Olympia.
Right.
And what now? Oh, but they still have women's bodybuilding. So what sense does it make? Here, play football, but there's no such thing as a Super Bowl.
Right. There's no crowning achievement. I mean, thank God that Jake said, you know what? And he wanted to hold the Miss. You don't have to have the Miss Olympia at the Olympia weekend. He was willing to hold the Miss Olympia someplace else, but they wouldn't give him the rights to use that name, or they wanted to charge a ridiculous amount of money for it. You know, like they didn't want it. In other words, they had it on the shelf. They weren't using it, but no one else was going to use it. God forbid.
That's their mantra.
Yeah.
That's their mantra throughout their entire existence.
Yeah.
It's on the shelf. You can't use it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use it.
Right.
I'm not going to use it either. It's just going to stay on the shelf.
Think about it. It's like the Masters Olympia. Why don't we have a Masters Olympia anymore? I mean, because they wanted to charge so much money that no promoter could actually pay that money and actually turn a profit on the show. It's impossible. So Jake said, you know what, fine. I'll make my own show. So they created that Rising Phoenix show, which became the World Championship for women's bodybuilding. And he was giving away more money there than any of the female divisions made, probably combined at the Olympia level. He was given $50,000 cash or $75,000 cash, and then he was giving away a car. I think the last one they just gave away that Challenger Hellcat, which was sick.
I went to the first one because Valerie was in it,
right,
in physique. And man, you could just tell what a difference. You know, first of all, that Jeep he gave away that year was like $85,000.
Sick, yeah.
It was sick custom Jeep. It was amazing. I was looking at it, I couldn't believe it. But you know what? You got the sense that the guy in charge here cares. It cares about the sport, cares about the women, cares about bodybuilding, and that's the way it should be. Why is AMI? Why is a CEO of a company like AMI owning the Olympia? The guy barely even jogs. He doesn't know what the inside of a gym looks like. And he's in charge of bodybuilding. He's like got Joe. He's sitting in Joe Weider's seat now. Yeah. How retarded is that? And the sport suffered. So along comes Jake, the savior of the whole thing, and they won't even play ball with him until the point where now he's going to buy the whole thing. So that to me is the ultimate. You know what, guys? Fuck you. I'll just buy the whole goddamn thing. You won't give me the name. I'll just buy everything. And I don't know.
The irony was that, you know, first of all, Dan Solomon's brilliant. I got to tell you, because Dan obviously orchestrated this whole thing. And, you know, you got to remember, Dan, I always say this, and you and I always praise him. Dan has learned to extract more money from our industry than any other human being in the history of our sport. I think.
With the least amount of work.
Yes, he used to do 35 shows, radio shows a year. It's 35 hours of radio. I mean, which is nothing. I mean, we haven't missed a week since we started. Do you know that? 52 shows a year. We've never missed. I think we're up to like 570 radio shows, something like that. And they're always more than an hour.
We've done them on Christmas Day.
Yeah. So Dan did 35 shows a year, and he at one point was able to extract $8,000 a month from Bleckman to be the official radio show of the MD, because Bleckman was so crazed that he was losing to us that Dan was like leveraged us. Actually, Dan wanted to come over to RxMuscle for a while, which I really don't believe he was going to do. I think he just was using that to get Bleckman to pay him more money, which was a brilliant move on his part. And I was actually happy that he did it, because it probably helped put Bleckman out of business faster, you know, because he was bleeding him full of money. And then Dan goes from doing that radio show. He's like, all right, I'm not going to do the radio show anymore. And he starts Digital Muscle, right? And then he sells Digital Muscle to Jake, okay, which is a brilliant move. Yeah. And then he does the movie Bigger, because his college roommate was like, wasn't his college roommate the director of the movie?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, the
story.
He gets close to the Weeders, obviously, and then, you know, he obviously becomes very close to the Olympia people, and I guess they see that he has some vision and some idea, and before you know it, he's made the chief executive officer of the Olympia, He's basically running the Olympia. He did his first Olympia last year. Did a phenomenal job. He brought Jake Wood on for $1 million in advertising. And then this year, they announced at the Olympia that they're going to bring back the Miss Olympia. Imagine that. It only took Jake to pay $1 million for them to bring back the Miss Olympia.
But probably with the promise that he's going to buy the whole damn
No,
thing.
I don't think the promise was there. I think that because otherwise he would have just bought it and he could have brought it back himself. You know what I mean? But I think that came about afterwards, and I don't know. Dan will probably fill some on the timeline.
Yeah.
And then obviously the deal was on the table. They were having meetings with David Pecker, and they made it happen. What they paid, I don't know. But you know what? The truth is, it doesn't matter because Jake is one of these guys who's involved in the sport not to make money. He doesn't care. That's what makes it so pure, what he's doing, because he's doing it for the sheer love of the sport. He's not doing it as a business move. Now, I'm sure they're going to make sure that the Olympia becomes a profitable entity if it isn't already. I don't know. I heard it had been going downhill the last couple of years. But the bottom line is that it will become profitable, but it doesn't matter to Jake if it is or not. And that's why it will be the new WrestleMania. I believe they can take this thing to epic proportions if they bring the right people on board.
Yep. This is, for anybody listening to our show, this is the best thing that's happened to the sport in decades. It really, really is. And for the fact that I hope, I don't know what they didn't disclose the deal with Alcoa and buying his two companies. I mean, I'm just hoping it was bazillions of dollars.
He probably made $1 billion on that.
I hope or I hope he made more. I hope he made more than that because he's going to spend money on the Olympia. He's going to spend money on the women. He's going to spend money turning those magazines into digital, masterpieces. He's going to do a lot for the sport. And you know what? He's going to make money. He's going to make money because we, the fans, are going to appreciate his efforts tremendously and support everything he does. And The Rock, same way. The Rock is coming on board, too, to put up something special for bodybuilding, the athletes and the fans. So now we're heading into an era when, before you had this decline, this precipitous decline with everybody just moaning about the thing. You bring Dan on, we have this incredible spike. Now we're entering into an age where we've got two fresh-blooded, passionate people about bodybuilding with tons of money, ready to take this thing to the next level, next two levels. And that's incredible. And I made mention of this last night, and I don't want to forget it, but the Miss International was also canceled, and I think that is terrible. And what I'm hoping is the machination here turns the Wings of Strength or the Rising Phoenix show into the replacement for the Miss International.
So have two big shows, you're saying, a year.
Three. You got the Miss. You're gonna have the Rock show, which I hope includes women's bodybuilding, which is going to give them, a crown to shoot for. The Olympia and Jake's, heretofore Rising Phoenix, which could be the replacement for the.
Maybe they'll move it.
Miss International. Then you'd have the Triple Crown for men and women. You'd have the Triple Crown of bodybuilding. You win imagine that. You win the Olympia, the Wings of Strength, the Olympia, Wings, Rising Phoenix, and the Rock show. You win all three of those in 1 year. Who's to say you won't get a fat $1 million?
Yeah. Or how about maybe Jake sits down with Arnold's people and says, "Hey guys, why don't you bring back women's bodybuilding? What do I got to do to sweeten the pot a little bit?" Because I think Arnold's people were just kind of following the trend that the Olympia people were taking. Everyone's down on women's bodybuilding, and you know what? We could fix this whole women's bodybuilding thing real easy. And I talked to you about this, last night when we did our show that failed in recording. But you got to combine these divisions. I've said it before. Women's bodybuilding and women's physique is the same entity at this point. It has evolved to the point where the women's bodybuilders and the women's physique competitors are essentially the same. The women bodybuilders are just a little older. They're 40 and over, most of these women who are competing. They're a little bigger, but not much. And I think you can combine the entity. Wouldn't you love to see Iris Kyle on stage next to Shanique Grant? The older generation, 10-time Miss Olympia versus the new generation. And I'm sure Shanique Grant would love to be crowned Miss Olympia, not Women's Physique Champ or whatever, Women's Physique Olympia. Miss Olympia is the title. One division, combine them. It's a no-brainer at this point. I don't know why they haven't done it. Now that Jake owns the Olympia, he can certainly influence that decision.
He can influence that decision. The Rock can influence that decision. And I don't understand why there is this almost misogynistic view of female bodybuilders by the powers that be. These are
no, but you know what happened though. This is what it got out of control, and it was not a fun thing to watch anymore. It wasn't marketable, so they started women's physique, which you pointed out. It started pure. It was like between women's bodybuilding and figure, but it evolved as we knew it would to a point where the girls are hard now and they're bigger. And it's women's bodybuilding. It's stupid. We have two divisions of women bodybuilders at this point. Take the great stuff that they made women's physique with the glamour aspect of it, the symmetry that they're rewarding, the beauty aspect of it. Combine it with women's bodybuilding because it's about muscle and posing, and let's combine them and make Miss Olympia. This is it. Arnold can do Miss International again. Rock can do, whatever, Athleticon, women's bodybuilding champ or women's champ or whatever, however you want to do it. It's the Miss Olympia. It's one division. Make it grand. It's like having two heavyweight champions, one from the IBF, one from the WBC. We want to see those two guys fight to unify the title. Let's unify this title already.
Yeah, I'm gonna voice my same disagreement that I voiced last. Not disagreement, caveat. It's a caveat. Mm-hmm. The judging, and you would disagree with me on this, but I disagree with you back. The judging has got to follow some established standard and stay consistent.
Absolutely,
so that everybody's not confused.
I agree. It can't turn into a drag queen show. No, It can't. But right now they got it right. Women's physique is right. And the funny thing is that Jake has been influencing women's bodybuilding. They're trying to reward the more beautiful, aesthetic-looking physique. So they're going in the same direction. They're meeting each other, these two divisions. And once again, who wouldn't want to see Shanique standing next to Hilly Nielsen versus Iris Kyle? Natalia Coelho, all the top physique and bodybuilders. I want to see them on stage against each other. They can certainly battle it out. That would be super exciting. Who wouldn't want to see that? How much more excitement would that infuse? It's like remember when they had the NFL Football League and they started the AFL? Yep. And they decided to combine the leagues and have them play in the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl. So they had two leagues, Super Bowl. And, the Jets wound up beating Vince Lombardi's team, Green Bay Packers. Oh no, you beat the Baltimore Colts. They were called the Baltimore Colts at the time, and everyone thought they had no chance, right?
Right.
And they won. I mean, that's what we want to see. I want to see Shanique battling 10-time Miss Olympia Iris Kyle on that stage for $100,000 first prize.
$100,000 in a car.
That's what I want to see, and Jake would do it. He would.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to see the second and third and fourth and fifth place girls go home with 20, 30 grand in their pocket, And
I think The Rock would do it too.
I think he would follow suit, absolutely. And you know what the funny thing is? It would make more girls want to go into the sport. People would be talking about it like it's a big deal. That's what they needed. And we got the right guy in there now. A guy who's not afraid to put the money up and a guy who doesn't care if there's a return on his investment initially because he doesn't need the money returned. And that's going to make that exciting. But they got to combine the divisions. It's got to be Miss Olympia. I'm sorry. I know I've been saying it for 3 or 4 years now, and people probably saying, oh, he's nuts. But it'll happen. I'm telling you. But they should do it sooner than later.
It should happen. So it makes room for wellness.
Yeah, that's another whole story. But you know what the funny thing is? There's no reason to have women's bodybuilding. There's not enough women's bodybuilders. But the women's bodybuilding is what we want to see. So if you want to infuse new life into women's bodybuilders, you're not going to do it through keeping it as a separate division. You're going to do it by combining the divisions. You're not going to get enough new girls that are going to go into women's bodybuilding directly. So, and it's just not enough people to support two separate divisions. Combine the divisions, make it grand, give away a ton of money for first place, and I'm telling you, it will be the most popular women's division out there.
It should be able to stand on its own again.
It will. It will. It will. They have to combine it, and Jake's got to support it like the way he's been doing it. And now he has the ability to do it. He owns the titles, Olympia. He can call it whatever he wants.
Yep. I just wonder how the IFBB is going to play ball with him.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think Jim Mannion, who I just spoke to the other day, by the way, and happy birthday, Jim Mannion. Same birthday as me.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
And and I think he's loving the fact that Jake's in there. I think it's going to be a lot easier for him to deal with him than with Pecker, because David Pecker is a businessman. Let's face it. And it's hard when you're running it, to deal with a businessman who's really not, like you said, into bodybuilding. I mean, he likes it. He was kind of like, cool about it, but he's not a bodybuilder at heart. So Jake loves bodybuilding. It's going to be easy for him and Jim to sit down at the table and say, "How do we make this thing bigger? How do we make this thing better?"
You said this last night, so I'm gonna lead in, and you can finish saying it. The round table.
Oh, yeah.
Say what you said last night.
What I said was to make the Olympia great, to make it the WrestleMania of bodybuilding. Jake and Dan should get a panel of people. They should fly in 10 people. Sit them in a room for the weekend together, feed them, put them up, make them feel like special, and brainstorm.
Wait, last night you said us included.
Well, yeah, I haven't said who the 10 people are yet. I don't have them all. I would think Vince McMahon would be a great guy to be in there.
Definitely. Vince McMahon, us.
Or Triple H, both of them, if they would come, guys like you and me who just have a lot of crazy creative ideas. In other words, everyone who has a different level of specialty. We're just the creative guys. We're not like the logistics guys. Like how to make it happen. You talk to Vince McMahon. How did he make WrestleMania happen? I mean, how do they do that every year where it's bid upon? Maybe that's what the Olympia should be. Maybe it shouldn't be in Vegas every single year. Maybe it should be a place where different cities bid on it and they have in huge venues. Can they do it?
It should be in Orlando.
Right? Orlando would be a great place to hold it.
Orlando, I know like Sin
that's where
City.
WrestleMania is this year, right?
Well, I mean, Orlando makes sense. First of all, it's way cheaper to stay in Orlando than it is in Vegas.
Yeah.
Number two is it's way easier to get around in Orlando than it is in Las Vegas. Number three, there's plenty of venues in Orlando that could house the whole thing like they used to house it at Mandalay Bay. All inclusive in one luxurious high-end, establishment. And
why not move it around though? Have cities bid on it like they do with WrestleMania.
There's really not. There's the other. They did that. Remember when it was in Chicago? How horrible that was.
Well, that's because they were always going for bargains. That's why.
Oh my God, that was so horrible. Remember that venue was the freeway went around it in a circle. Remember? You were
that was before. I didn't even go to that one. That was before my time. I have to tell you.
Oh my God, you were locked in there. Locked. You could not move. It was at an 18-lane freeway. One
of the stipulations is you cannot hold it in any place that's not beautiful weather. That's one of the stipulations.
Beautiful weather, easy to get around, reasonably priced accommodations and meals and all of that.
What about Reno? Reno's not bad either. I mean, it's a small city, but I think Vegas, you can't hold it in LA because you can't get around. It's too hard there.
And people suck in LA.
Right. I mean, I would love to see it go to Venice one year, but it's just not viable.
And there's no venue.
Yeah, there's no venue there, exactly. But Vegas, Disney World, obviously, Orlando down here would be great. There's Miami, yeah. Miami's expensive though. I don't know if I would go to Miami. Fort Lauderdale
would be good.
Tampa is not bad.
Tampa, yeah.
I love Atlanta too. I mean, I think that was not a bad venue to have it in.
How about someplace in Texas?
Yeah, like far south.
Yeah, I could see Texas.
Still warm there. It's still warm there in September. But you know what? They're in Vegas now. Make it work in Vegas. I understand because it's a very difficult thing to move this thing around initially. But maybe if it grows big enough, cities will want to have it because it'll bring a lot of revenue into them.
Don't they have another choice yet? It's either Orleans or Mandalay Bay. Don't they have a choice anymore?
Like what about these new hotels like the Vidara and all these other ones? Where
they have venues that could hold the Olympia.
So what if since money is not an issue anymore? Maybe we will see it.
How can you have boxing world championship at Caesar's Palace, but you can't have the Olympia there?
I'm saying you can. I think that there was a money thing before, but I think that Jake is not going to care. I think we're going to see within the next, not this year, possibly in 21 we're going to see it moved. I think that could be a distinct possibility.
You remember those days? We had those great rooms with the view of the Strip,
I love the Mandalay Bay.
And then downstairs, you run into Ronnie Coleman in the hallway. And, I mean, it was just.
It's nice. And the funny thing is, you can stay in the Luxor next door even if you wanted to, and walk through you could walk right through the connecting hallway.
Yep, there. Hallway, and they had great restaurants, sushi bars, and all of that stuff.
No, it was tremendous.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Awesome. You never had to leave, but as opposed to Chicago, where you were trapped, you were as easily ensconced in Vegas. But it was good. There was stuff there. There was things. It was great. But
that's why we need this brainstorming group of people, because everyone has their own specialty. You bring in people who are promoters, not of like bodybuilding shows, not Steve Carroll. You bring in rock concert promoters, or wrestling promoters. How do we put this thing on the right way? Then you get people who are great with social media. How do we blast this thing into the next stratosphere? Then you bring in people who are creative, who love bodybuilding, like you and me, who even I even have to include Sean Ray in that. He's a pain in the ass, but he has good ideas, and he knows
absolutely. Sean would be a great.
Bring in people like that so that we can tell what does the bodybuilding person want, what is the fan looking for, because we know how to reach the fan. Obviously, that's something we have always done well, and that's why RxMuscle is so compelling for the fans, because we know what they want to hear and what they want us to report on. So we got to make it so press friendly, this whole thing, that it seems like, once again, like there's a red carpet there where it's so special to be at that Olympia, like you're at the Academy Awards. That's what it should be like.
And you have to translate that to the online viewer too. The online viewer's got to have a tremendous experience, because this is global. This is going out all over the world. And if you can't make it to Vegas, you should still be able to enjoy the Olympia.
Right.
They should have, ongoing coverage of the expo, all the shit that's going on at the booths, 24/7 on 3 different channels.
Yep.
And every online source should be free to cover the Olympia the way they want.
Right.
And offer, because look, the idea that
which it is. Dan already instituted that. He did a great job last year, and it's only going to get better. He's just got to the only thing they got to work on is they got to work on a press area at the Olympia venue itself.
Yeah, they get
the Arnold people did it right. I got to say, the Arnold people have had our backs for the last 10 years.
They've been way better to deal with.
Because they understand the promotion. They're not trying to restrict anything. You can shoot video of the stage. They don't care, because they want the show put out there, and they got it. And they built, and I don't know if it was because of me, but I mean, I've been talking to Matt Laws about this forever. When they moved the venue from the the Veterans Memorial into the actual Hyatt Regency Conference Center there, they made a press area on the side of the stage. So when all the athletes come out, they got to walk through the press area where there's backdrops and all the press are set up. And so we can sit there. They have tables. They have internet. You can upload your pictures and do everything you have. And then you can do interviews right there. It's a huge open area. No one has access to that except the press. And it's brilliant, because now you don't have to fight people and try to go into the lobby and get interviews. I mean, it's asinine the way it was set up before. It was ridiculous that we have to be in the parking lot doing interviews in the steaming hot weather, because we're not allowed to be inside the venue. I mean, it was just it was so obvious that it was ridiculous. But you couldn't even say anything, because every time you utter a word against the way something was being done at the Olympia, the guy who was running it at the time, took personal offense and took away your press passes. I mean, it was like a monarchy almost.
I don't know how they got such a fragile individual involved in such a lofty position.
And for what reason? It didn't serve anything.
It didn't serve anything. This guy would fucking lose his mind over nothing.
It was an exclusionary type of situation.
It was just fucked up. And
now with Dan and Jake Wood there, it's going to be inclusionary. They want people included, not excluded.
Right there, you're gonna see a huge bump in support because nobody liked that shit. Nobody liked the fucking exclusivity and the restrictive contracts, and you can't talk to this guy. Why are these guys out here we are in the 21st century in a dark parking lot with a flashlight shining to do a wrap-up video interview because you couldn't do it in the venue.
John, 2 years ago, not this past year because when Dan took over, but 2 years ago, we had, I think, 3 press passes or something like that. And so we get there, and it was like bad weather. And, flying from Florida to Vegas, if there's bad weather, you're not going to make it there. So my photographer couldn't make it. He instead of getting there Thursday, he got there Friday morning. Now, who the hell wants to sit in the airport? Well, he had to do it, right? He gets there. We go to get his press pass. They're like, oh, sorry, the press passes were supposed to be picked up yesterday. I'm like, well, the guy just got here. His flight was delayed. Well, sorry, no press pass. I'm like, but you got that. But I'm standing in the press.
Classic.
But we were standing there. In other words, I was at the press pass area. I said, you have the lanyard with the thing on it. Why can't you just give it to us? But we can only give it to you. We could only have given it to you yesterday. Well,
it's like a scene from Rain Man.
I thought I was in the fucking Twilight Zone, and I had to go and talk to Jim Mannion about this. He's like, what? So then he went and tried to talk to Robin Chang and crew backstage, and they're like, no, that's our policy. So even I said, well, Jim, this is why I get in trouble because does this sound like logical? Am I out of line here? He reached into his pocket, he handed me a packet of VIP tickets, Jim Mannion did, and said, let's not deal with this. He realized how ridiculous it was.
He realized how stupid it was.
He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that, but he even saw. It was great that he was able to see firsthand that we weren't trying to start trouble. That this was just. This is what I had to deal with. I had to feel like wasn't wanted. Like we weren't really wanted at this show. That's how the projection of it was.
That's how we always felt at the Olympia. We were not wanted. We were there at begrudgingly. They would rather have had us not there. They would rather
have no one there. It wasn't just us. They would rather have no one there.
No one there. They could hold it in the closet in the dark. Don't let anybody see what happens, and just read about the results in a magazine in 3 months.
Right. This is not the IFBB or NPC we're talking about. This is just the Olympia way it was being run. So it's so nice to see that Jake has bought this Olympia, and I'm kind of excited to see what the future holds. We're throwing a lot of brainstorming ideas out there, but I know that they will sit down and they're gonna do this the right way, and it's gonna get better and better and better, over the next couple of years.
I hope he reaches out to us because we're still here for a reason.
Right, we're still of sound mind, which is pretty amazing.
and we've got a powerful army behind us. We've got 250,000 people that believe in what we're doing. Yeah. So that's nothing to sneeze at. And look, and you know what? I know I can speak for every single one of them out there listening to us right now. Is that they are going to enjoy the sport of bodybuilding so much more now that it's back in the hands of someone who cares about bodybuilding. That's it in a nutshell right there. Bodybuilding is back in the hands of someone who cares. And that is so huge for right now because it's going to make everything better for everyone. And I am so happy that somebody with the money stepped up to the plate who is a lover of this sport and wants to do the benevolent thing. And I just could not be happier for this moment for our sport. And this goes out to Dwayne too, The Rock, for what he's proposing to do. These two guys right now are the future. And I could not, as a fan of bodybuilding for 50 years, I could not be happier about what's happening right now.
Yeah. I feel, you and I have talked about this for a while, and I would have loved to have been that guy that what Jake's doing, and probably if I would have had his money, I probably would have done it. And I asked you this question yesterday. I said, John, if you won a lottery ticket or something like that, or you inherited like $1 billion, would you have done what Jake did? In other words, selflessly give money to a sport that is going to give you no return financially, at least not initially. Would you just give it and make it better? And you said yes.
Absolutely.
A lot of people wouldn't. I think that's Bleckman's problem. I think that his problem was that he didn't want to spend his own money to make the sport
his wife
better.
wouldn't let him spend his money.
You think he would have done it? If he wasn't married, would he have done it?
Oh, are you? Come on! Come on! He would have had the glute parade and named after him, and with a smoking jacket. Come on, that would have been if he had no restrictions. If his wife didn't keep his nose out of every bodybuilder's glutes in history. If he had free reign, are you kidding me right now? He would have. It would be the Playboy of bodybuilding. It would be the gay schmo World's Fair. It would have been. That's what he would have had. And
It probably would have been great. It probably would have been amazing.
it would have been amazing. The bodybuilders would have gotten tons of money.
Yeah.
All they had to do was put up with him ogling with them. And
Yeah, guys, the glutes, yeah, turn around.
and it would have been. It would have been a heyday for everybody, the fans, the everybody. If he had unfettered access to his own money, he would have spent it. Yeah. He definitely would have.
Because a lot of people with that kind of money, they don't, they save it, or they just spend it on themselves. It's pretty selfless to be able to open up your pockets and say, you know what, I love this sport. I don't want to see it die. I have the means to make it better and to keep it alive and to take it to the next level, and I'm going to do it. No matter what it costs, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. And
if you have a couple $100 million, Bleckman had hundreds of millions with the sale of Twin Lab and the stock, and then I'm sure he inherited, a bunch of money by now. When you have that kind of money, that many zeros on the account, so you put 10, 15, 20 million into something like this, you're not going to notice that's gone. Yeah, especially if you love it,
Sure, and I mean, what are you going to do when you die? Are you going to take it with you?
Right, look like Ben did, Ben Weeder, who died with $1 billion in the bank.
Right. I mean, great. It's great for your kids and the legacy, but how much money do your kids need?
It's like, I believe if you have made a significant fortune off of something, that significant fortune, at least part of it, or if you have a significant fortune, you are a lover of what this is, then you pay it, you do something special, that pays homage to your chosen
legacy
time,
Yeah, I agree.
To elevate it for everyone, pay it forward. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing to do. There's all kinds of ways. People beg for money from everything from saving animals to saving starving children. There's all kinds of causes out there, and there's tons of people out there with money that are feeding those causes and getting off whatever they get off it.
Save the bodybuilder.
Why should bodybuilding be any different? Exactly.
Good. It's a new charity we're going to start. Save the bodybuilder.
Save the bodybuilder.
John and I were talking about the not to skip too far off the subject, but with this new division that they brought in, we were talking about wellness yesterday, and I was basically saying that I think it's a ridiculous division, but I said it's brilliant in the sense that it's going to bring a lot of money into the sport because everyone wants a division that they fit into, and
sure,
guys like to look at girls' big butts, and girls like to have big butts and nowadays, and it works. But it is a ridiculous division. I mean, because it's just not necessary. But if it's going to grow the sport, I'm in support of it. That's my feeling on it. What's your take on the whole wellness division? And how to get the name wellness?
It started in Latin America. They've been having that. I've been seeing wellness shows in Mexico for years now.
I saw it in Brazil for the first time.
Yeah, all of those. Look, the Latin women are way more in touch with their bodies, their sexuality, their everything having to do with their body, and they love to show it off. And I mean, so if they have all kinds of ways of doing it. And there's all kinds of flavors, but the Latin image is that big ass and the big legs and the smaller upper body and the big tits, and this is what you get. You get these voluptuous, athletes with these insane lower bodies, and that is so brilliant among the Latin connoisseur of body sport that it exploded down there. It was only a matter of time before it got here. And it's cultural. The glutes are cultural in that country. You know, in my gym, I had an entire room dedicated to glutes. And you know what? It was the most used part of the gym all day, every day. Women down there would train their legs 5 days a week.
Right.
Every day. They train their legs 5 days a week. And, you know, I just remember one.
But, John, you know what my thing is? Why can't they train their upper body too?
Well, they do, but not to the extent, you know. But
right. But what I'm saying is, in other words, if you want to have big legs, okay, then do bodybuilding, do women's physique or women's bodybuilding, because
they're skewed. Look, to them it's right, to us it's wrong. How about the women with the big fake asses that are popular down there? You got these.
Well, you can't compete with that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
But I mean, I'm talking about the mentality, the body image mentality. Here you've got a girl that's got all this fat and silicone and whatever jammed into her ass. Spindly little legs because she doesn't train them. She wants to do everything artificial, and she looks like she's wearing a diaper with this big stupid ass hanging over these toothpick legs. That's what they do down there. So any iteration of that, you know, there's girls that train their legs, you know, tremendously, and you know, have the fake ass on top of it. Right. There's all flavors, and they like to show it off, and it's very popular down there. I got news for you: it's going to get very popular up here. It's wellness.
Of course it will. It's a division that you don't have to. I mean, come on. I mean,
you barely have to diet.
It's going to turn into. I'm telling you, women's bodybuilding without the huge upper body. It's inevitable.
It's inevitable, and it's going to look stupid. It's got a following, and
it makes money. But you know what? I'm going to start. Why don't we start a division that's called? What did I say I wanted to call it? Gym physique. And so you have men's physique, you have classic physique. I'm going to call it gym physique, which is basically just arms, chest, and delts.
Yeah.
And
you said a tank top. You wear a tank.
You can wear a tank top, or maybe not even a tank. I don't know. Maybe just have it because maybe abs is important too. I don't know, but I keep the tank top on, a string tight tank top, and you just hit an arm and fucking twist and back poses. You know,
it would be the board short guys, but with muscles.
Exactly. No, just jacked arms and pecs. That's it. You don't even have to have abs because if you have a tank top on, it doesn't even matter.
You're just big arms and big shoulders and big
believe me, if I held a social media contest on RxMuscle social media for gym physique, and I called it, and I said, look, I want a 30-second video of you posing, okay, with the tank top on. You got to tan yourself up, oil, whatever you got to do. I want to see the best physique, and I'm going to give out prizes. I guarantee I'd get some fucking ridiculous, retarded-looking guys.
You would. It would be called the Instagram Olympics.
I don't care if you use synthol, what you could use. I don't give a shit what you put. As long as it looks good.
Anything goes.
As long as it looks good.
It's got to look good.
I think I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that on. We're going to do that on RxMuscle. We're going to do it's going to be called gym physique.
Or prison physique.
No, not prison, because you don't have to go to prison for it. It's going to be called gym physique. And
because the guys in prison only do chest and arms.
That's true. But no, they don't. Not where I went. We were doing legs, too. We were squatting in the snow. Those guys, I got news to you. Those guys in prison, they train hard. And you know why? Because they got nothing else to do.
So, and they got a lot of time to rest.
Yeah, they got a lot of time to rest and recuperate. But the bottom line, and I think that's why they grow in there, because they sleep a lot. But I mean, I think it's a viable entity, gym physique. I think it would be great. It would be a great online social media contest.
If they can have fucking pole dancing, why can't we have
We're going to call it RxMuscle's Gym Physique.
Gym Physique.
Or Freak Physique.
Or maybe we should play off of Bros versus Pros and call it the Bro Physique.
Yeah, maybe Bro Physique might be good, yeah.
Gym, the Iron Bro Physique.
And I'm going to come up, I got to get a sponsor. Maybe Jake Whittle's sponsor. He spent enough money.
You can't use Dan's benefactor.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a sponsor, and we're gonna give away money and prizes, and people will submit the videos. You and I and Chris Aceto will review all the videos, and we'll see who we think is the top 5. We'll put those up, and then people can vote on it, and I will give prizes out. That's what we're gonna do.
That'd be great,
right? Isn't that a good idea?
Yeah. We got to get some good prizes. We have to get the sponsors out there to pony up and get like a big prize, like a duffel bag full of shit.
I'm going to go to all our current sponsors on RxMuscle, and I'm going to say, look, this is what I'm doing. Give me prize packages, that you want to put up. I'll go to, I'm sure Aaron at Redcon will give us something. I'm
Sure.
going to go to Titan Medical. Maybe
They'll
we'll put up
give
a
you
bottle of
something.
testosterone. No, just kidding. They'll put something up. We're going to go to Dr. Blau. We'll give a free gynecomastia surgery. We're going to get Carlo at the Chicken Pound. We're going to get, we have our new Muscle Beach sponsor for clothing. We're gonna get everyone to put up chemical warfare. We're gonna get everyone. Everyone's gonna get on board with this thing, and we're gonna get this. It's gonna be the most popular non-Olympia contest out there.
I'll get Richie to put up a few boxes of plasma.
There you go. All right, that's fine.
There you go.
And we'll get everyone on board with this thing, and we're gonna hold it. We got to add a little more online excitement. I haven't been creative enough. I needed to brainstorm with you, John, on the show.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't. Our creativity's been on the
on
rock.
our 11th year now. We have to.
We got to reemerge now.
Right.
Now that the landscape is changing, we got to roll with it like we always do.
That's right. If they can have wellness and they can judge women's butts, we can have a upper body contest for men.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea.
I don't care if they have abs. I don't care if you have a gut. As long as you can cover it with your tank top. I want to see the freakiest, biggest arms, chest, and delts.
Like Piana and Big Frank.
Right.
And
Those
monsters.
guys would be great.
Fucking monsters.
Yep. That's exactly what I want to see.
We're on it. We're on it. Everybody, I want everybody to write in and tell us how great of an idea it is and what your thoughts are.
And as another hour has passed, John, on the 11th year of RxMuscle.com, on my 52nd birthday, I bid you farewell. And as I say every week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
it sure does. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.